Overrated. I'm sure you'll be able to have an opinion on this one. Elvis Presley.
That is an interesting one because he's up there with like the Beatles and that. Like as I say with Tupac, when I said before, like was he the first kind of breakout? I think Elvis obviously wasn't the first rock and roll singer. He wasn't the first, but it would be fair to say he was the first rock star.
He was iconic again, and I'm noticing a pattern with the overrated people is that not necessarily musical ability or. Well, catchy songs, yes, but more how they are marketed and what they represent. So, for example, I can tell you right now, Elvis Presley could dance, and damn, obviously, could he sing? And he had a very iconic voice. You hear Elvis sing, you know it's Elvis Presley, don't you? Pretty matter of fact, you know it's him. However, Elvis never wrote any of his own songs. I don't think he ever wrote one. That I hope that's correct. I'm 99% sure he never wrote any of his own music, and he was I'm going to be really generous and say a bang average rhythm guitar player at best, if that says everything.
Yeah, I'm just So I think the thing from what I've heard, I have actually heard a few like big Elvis fans talk about him, and from what I understand is like his very early stuff was that kind of like poppy schlocky Elvis on holiday, Elvis in Hawaii and all that shit.
all the gimmicky stuff that people could jump on board.
Yeah, he was a gimmick. He was a Barbie doll, you know what I mean? He was a toy to play with. I think later on in his career is when he musically evolved a bit, and I think a lot of people go on about I'm talking out my arse here because I don't know enough, but I know he did various. What was that song like In the Ghetto and stuff like that, and he really kind of did develop as an artist, and I think by the back end of his career, he really was proving his worth and proving his talent, whereas back in the early day it was about being that kind of like being that like sex figure and all that. And not to get like too political into this, but from I know from me history is basically Elvis, the whole selling point of Elvis was he sung black music but he was white, so they could play him on the radio.
Yeah. It was a lot of politically motivated under the staircase, pulling the strings kind of thing, wasn't it? I'm not saying Elvis wasn't talented. He was obviously. I forgot to mention he was a talented pianist as well. He could play piano, but I know he obviously he was a great singer, but I don't think he was a musician really, and he definitely wasn't a songwriter. Are you ready for the next?
Yeah, so I will give Elvis rated. I won't fully agree with you there. I think he's perfectly rated for what he is. I think he's a man of a former generation, and I think as like new generations come in, like ourselves and like Gen X, Gen Z, and onwards and stuff like that, he's gonna kind of fade away in the public like eye and figure, you know what I mean? And he'll be this historical relic. But yeah, I'll give him rated. So, but bring the next one on, mate.